including heavy metal toxins, which we will look at in a minute, and other toxins, chemicals, electromagnetic, pesticides, which would include organic chemicals, and of course, the heavy metals. So in this short discourse, we are going to be focusing on the heavy metals. Another time we'll look at artificial sweeteners because they are also now put on a danger list. And what amuses me is that people use these things every day and they don't ask the question, what am I putting into my body? They don't ask the question for them, and they get a lot of problems. But we're going to be looking at them at another time. What we're looking at today is heavy metal toxicity. I'm going to share the screen and we are going to make it comprehensive because we have a packed afternoon. So welcome and God bless. Okay, everybody can see this screen? Everybody see it?
Yes, we can.
Good. How to cope with the challenges of food toxicity. Now, in 2017, a report was made after a fairly serious and long study that persistent heavy metal pollution poses a threat to all life forms, animal, plant, fish, animals, and of course, human beings, to all life forms in the environment due to its toxic effects, persistent heavy metal pollution. Now, this morning we talk about the longer we delay. Over the past 100 years, these heavy metals and other toxins have been used industrially more and more, with the result that our water supply has become all around the world, in some countries more than others, progressively compromised. Foods contaminated, the very air we breathe contaminated, and our home environment with gadgets and certain chemicals in furniture, batteries and so on, our home environment has not escaped. And the heavy metals we're looking at, arsenic, lead, mercury, and cadmium. There are a few others, but these are the major culprits and the ones that cause greatest concern. And we are exposed to these every day. In fact, the report says that each and every person, to some degree, has already heavy metals in their body. Wow. So heavy metal pollution poses a threat to all life forms. Heavy metal pollution has been increasing over the past 100 years. Our water supply, our food, our air, and our home environment now definitely contaminated. The four big culprits, arsenic, lead, mercury, cadmium, we are exposed to these every day. Each and every person has some of these heavy metals already in their bodies. Now, 100 years ago, well, let's go back, in fact, to 1900. 1900 is more than 100 years ago, but in 1900, looking at the USA where the study was done, only 3% of the USA population suffered from cancer. Cancer was very uncommon, rare 100 years ago. Watch it now, by 1950, 20% of the US population suffered cancer. By 2000, 38%. And now in 2022, the research says it's going to be approaching 50%, 1 in 2 adults with a diagnosis of cancer sometime in their life. So look at that trend from the late 1800s and 1900, only 3%. By 1950, 20%. By 2000, 38%, and now an increasing jump in this year, just beginning, they said it's going to approach 1 in 2, 50%. Whoa. Now, evidence indicates that heavy metal toxicity plays a critical role in cancer incidence. And since 1900, of course, has been progressive industrialization using these heavy metals, using them in various paints, applications, pesticides.
Show the slides. Can you show me slides?
Pardon? Everybody still seeing?
Yes, we can see.
The slides are not moving.
Yes.
The slides are not moving?
No.
Yes, please.
Okay. So you haven't seen this transition from slide 1 to slide 2?
No.
Yes, we haven't seen it.
Okay.
No, we're still on slide 1.
There's a common problem with this. I don't know where it happens. Let me just check again.
I know how Jose can say that he could slide on. Yeah?
Please try sharing desktop or screen.
Can you see it now?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right, so we're saying 100 years ago, cancer in the USA was where? 1900, only 3% of the population. By 1950, 20%. By 2000, 38%. And in this year, it is going to be approaching 50%. And the evidence indicates that heavy metal toxicity plays a critical role in cancer incidence. And as we shall see, some of them cause cancers in certain organs more than others. But look at this striking increase, progressive industrialization, technology, sprays, paints, car cleaners, the things we rub on our tires and car tires and so on, foods, all around this pollution is increasing, and cancer incidence is increasing, and heavy metal toxicity plays a critical role in cancer incidence, we're now finding out. So we should do our best to minimize exposure, but this is not easy. We drive in cars, we sit in furniture, we eat foods, we drink water, and all of these are already contaminated. So it is not easy. Well, it is impossible to escape contamination, but to minimize that is even difficult. I hope you can see the transition now.
Yes, please.
Symptoms. Okay. All right, symptoms may be none or few. That's the trick. Symptoms may be none or few. So you may have heavy metals in you and at the present moment not have any symptoms yet. But some symptoms may be like a cough and you don't know why. Well, nowadays, if you have a cough, you should try and find out why. Fatigue, frequent infections due, watch this one, frequent infections due to weakened immune system, sinus issues, cognitive impairment, dizziness, and breathing problems. These are symptoms that can occur, apart from, of course, the cancer problem. Or the list of heavy metals. List of heavy metals. Arsenic is present in a whole range of pesticides. It is present in many foods. Now, the thing about arsenic is that even before modern industrialization and pesticides and so on, arsenic, like all the elements and metals in the periodic table in chemistry, arsenic is found in the soil in small amounts. Some foods like rice absorb more arsenic than other foods. So you had some arsenic in rice even before industrialization. And brown rice contains more because in the processing, you take off some of the husk and so on and some of the arsenic. So although brown rice is healthier than white rice, it also carries this risk of more arsenic. But it is said that the natural arsenic problem wasn't, some people say, a big deal, let's say in the old time days, but nowadays, especially in America, the arsenic in the soil has increased now because of industrial pollution. And therefore rice contains more arsenic because of that pollution. We're advised therefore to buy rice from South America or from certain Eastern countries which are less industrialized, and that wild rice, wild black rice and wild red rice would be much healthier in this regard than USA produced rice. So there we have it. So a staple food like rice and brown rice, which we consider healthier, from the USA, higher arsenic content. And some experts are getting very concerned about it. So they're saying, look for rice from South America, like Ghana. We should be getting our rice from Ghana, CARICOM, or from other countries where there's less of this industrial pollution, because USA and is a big industrialized country with lots of chemicals and so on. I was reading one expert recently who said if you're going to cook brown rice, he gave a technique to reduce the arsenic content by 80%, but it is rather tedious. I tried it the other day. You have to first wash the brown rice, put it in a strainer, and wash it in quite warm running water for several minutes, then soak it overnight in ordinary temperature water. Next morning, throw off that water, wash it again, then boil it in excess water and throw off the excess water and then start to cook. Well, that is quite tedious. But that, he says, is the formula for getting rid of 80% of arsenic in brown rice. So bear that in mind. We should try to aim for brown rice from Guyana or wild rice from other sources, but because they are concerned about USA rice, not only because arsenic is naturally in the soil in small amounts, but now the industrial pollution has increased arsenic in the soil, and rice has a tendency to pick it up and absorb it. Arsenic is also found in commercially produced chicken. Shrimp contains a lot of arsenic. Shrimp is a scavenger in the ocean, and you see a lot of people who don't eat like us. Shrimp is a delicacy. But the thing now is that arsenic has found its way into our water supplies as well. And therefore, that is why people are recommending now that we use a filter on the mains if we're going to get serious. And of course, arsenic would be in cigarettes, but cigarettes shouldn't concern any Christian or any health conscious person, because cigarette smoking is a deadly habit. There are some other foods that contain arsenic too. For example, they're saying that certain fruits and the way they're grown may contain arsenic as well. A serious problem with arsenic is that it increases the risk of diabetes, cancer, cancer of the bladder, cancer of kidney, cancer of other organs, kidney damage, and brain damage. Then there is lead. The Latin for lead is plumbus. That is why people who deal with pipes and so on are called plumbers from the old days in Rome. plumbus is lead in Latin. Hence, in chemistry, the symbol for lead is Pb, plumbus. And that is how plumbers get their name, because originally pipes were lead. Lead causes brain damage. Lead causes a whole range of cancers, especially blood cancers like leukemia. Lead can damage liver and kidney. Of course, they've moved now to take lead out of gasoline and other fuels because organic lead is even more dangerous than mineral lead. Then there is mercury, which causes memory loss, kidney damage, heart disease, found now in almost all fish because of pollution of the oceans, except you go up in the high north where there is less pollution, but in all the, for example, the Black Sea there in Europe and other seas, increasing pollution over the past 100 years. The plastics and mercuries and everything end up in the oceans, and fish and shrimp and so on full of mercury. There's concern too about mercury fillings in our teeth. And then there's cadmium, and cadmium is found in many household items, batteries and other electronic devices and so on. And we really can't escape it. And it damages the lung, the kidney, the bone, and increases the risk of cancer for bladder and prostate. There you have it. So look at these heavy metals: arsenic, lead, mercury, cadmium. They increase the risk for cancer, brain damage, kidney damage, liver damage, weaken the immune system. Wow. And we're exposed to them every day. We don't even know that we're taking them in. Now the research is showing they're present in some of our staple foods like arsenic and rice. So what a situation we found ourselves, and everything has gotten worse over the past 100 years, because what human beings call progressive advancement has this spin-off in terms of environmental pollution that affects us. All right, how to fight heavy metal toxicity, how to fight it. Well, the experts looking at it says, giving your body a break from eating every now and then, fasting, is important, because if you're not eating anything with arsenic, if you're not eating, and it gives the liver and kidney a chance to do what we call autophagy, self-cleaning, the cells cleaning up themselves. Now, the organs that are important in getting rid of heavy metals are the liver, which plays a very important role in detoxification. The liver has an enzyme system called the cytochrome P450 enzyme system in a part of the liver cells called the endoplasmic reticulum, and that is responsible for detoxifying these heavy metals. And then the kidney plays the role of getting rid of them in the urine. So the liver detoxifies them, and the kidneys excrete them in the urine. So your liver and your kidneys are vital in the defense against heavy metal toxicity. Fasting gives the organs and the cells a break to do recycling. Drinking plenty of water, and the thing is now they're saying this water should be pure, because if you're drinking more water and that water itself is contaminated, you're back at square one. Pure water helps the kidneys to get rid of the detoxified metals when the liver has finished its work. You're suggesting that we should use organic foods, or if we grow our own foods in the backyard where there is less chemical pollution, we're better off. And then the sulfur-containing foods like garlic and onions, sulfur helps to bind heavy metals and get them out of the body. So garlic and onions are good for helping to clear heavy metals from the body. Avoid unhealthily processed foods. Of course, we can't avoid all processing, and some processing is good. For example, take tomatoes cooked and crushed to form tomato paste. That is a healthy processing. And once you use a can that doesn't contain BPA, that is quite safe. But unhealthily processed foods tend to carry a lot of additional chemicals, minced meats and so on, that you don't even know what you're taking into your body. Drink plenty of pure water. Now we come to these important ones. Now, look at this. NAC. Now, we've been promoting NAC to protect the lungs, especially in this COVID environment, but N-acetylcysteine, and I should add there, although I'll deal with that another time, another amino acid called glycine, both available, N-acetylcysteine, NAC, and glycine. These amino acids help the liver to make glutathione that you would have heard me mention many a time before. And glutathione is part of the liver's detoxification apparatus to help detoxify a whole range of pollutants and help the liver, of course, also detoxify and clear the body of heavy metals, NAC. So if you take 600 milligrams of NAC, twice or 3 times a day, and it's best taken on an empty stomach with a glass of water, it is going to strengthen the liver's capacity to detoxify heavy metals. NAC, good for the lungs, good for the liver, good for the kidneys. A powerful aid in the liver's work of detoxifying the body from heavy metals. Milk thistle, the herb milk thistle, also strengthens the liver and helps the liver to do a better job at removing toxins and heavy metals, very important. And recently I've been looking at chlorella. They're saying that organic chlorella and I think Synergy that produces proarginine, the researcher was recommending them as one of the best sources in the world for organic chlorella. Chlorella is a powerful natural food that contains very important organic molecules that bind to and remove heavy metals from the body. Chlorella, also spirulina, and these are all available. NAC is available, milk thistle is available, chlorella is available, spirulina is available. These help the body to clean itself of these heavy metals. I know there's one called MCP you might not have heard of before. MCP means modified citrospectin. We'll talk about that in detail another time. Modified citrospectin. What they do is they take the citrus pectin, the pectin from oranges and so on, and they do some modification to make small molecular pectin molecules that are water-soluble fibers. And when they go into the body, they do 2 things. They bind to heavy metals and enable the kidneys to excrete the heavy metals. And 2, they slow down any malignant cells from multiplying fast. And modified citrospectin has now led to a whole area of research where they're looking at molecules that interfere with a protein called galectin-3 and to stop cancer spread. But MCP, modified citrospectin, is available, easily available in the USA, now available in Barbados as well. Modified citrospectin for helping the body to clear itself of heavy metals. So these are basic things: intermittent fasting, trying to use organic foods, garlic and onions, avoid unhealthily processed foods, drink plenty of water as pure as you can get it, and then supplements like NAC, milk thistle, chlorella, spirulina, and modified citrospectin are powerful aids in helping the body, the liver and the kidney, clear the body of heavy metal pollution. Okay, moving on. Other things, beetroot juice. And of course, these beets preferably should be grown in pretty pure soil organically. Beetroot juice binds heavy metals. Blueberries. Blueberries have been shown on blueberry extract to be very good at helping clear the body of heavy metals. Blueberries and blueberry extract, where you just take out the proanthocyanins and leave everything behind. Curcumin from turmeric. All the cruciferous vegetables, because of their sulfur content, help to clear the body of heavy metals. Broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, green cabbage, purple, kale, all of them, the cruciferous vegetables. Ginger, because of its molecular structure, also helps to clear the body of heavy metals. And then there is Gutu cola. This has nothing to do with caffeine on cola. This is a very important herb called Gutu cola that improves circulation, very good for the brain, and also helps to clean the body of heavy metals, available as well. And then, of course, we all know citrulline and arginine, that combination by itself or the arginine product. This helps the liver and helps the organs to clean. And ginkgo biloba, which we think of in terms of memory and brain, because of how it works on in antioxidant power, helps also the kidney to get rid of, and the liver to get rid of these toxins. Okay, let me just, having given you that summary, let me just summarize a few important things. Now, these heavy metals are all around us. Now, some places like Canada, where they have large quantities of water and lakes that are relatively untouched by environmental toxins, they can boast a fairly good water supply in terms of virgin water. We know Canada is vast, and some of its lakes and some of its bodies of water relatively untouched. But in the USA now, the bodies of water there and so on, and certain parts of industrialized Europe, UK and so forth, you're looking at a lot of toxicity in soil and in water. So we are now faced with, compared to 100 years ago, we are now faced, as I said this morning, the longer the delay, the more the problems. We are now faced with these toxins in water, in soil, in foods that our great-great-grandparents would have eaten easily, like rice. Now, if we are getting our rice from the USA, we have more pollution, more industrialized pollution, and even the good brown rice has more arsenic. People who still use a lot of seafoods, they have to watch for mercury. And in our electronic gadgets, we have to understand that there's cadmium. The things they use to prepare furniture and polish and so on, these chemicals. So all around us, we are bombarded. So we now have to understand that we have to take into our bodies substances that will help in the fight. The cruciferous vegetables, ginger, garlic, onion, blueberries, and then the ones I mentioned, NAC, which is so important for helping the lungs in this situation we're in. NAC, chlorella, spirulina, milk thistle, and this new one, modified citrospectin, which is a wonderful citrus product, because not only does, I just read a piece of research in which people on modified citrospectin, they found that the kidneys began to excrete over 150% more heavy metals than they were before. So it is a powerful heavy metal clearing agent, but it also interferes with a protein called galectin-3 that stops or slows cancer cell invasiveness. So they're doing a lot of work on modified citrospectin. Now, all these things are now available here in our island. They are available in the USA. So we have to look now to guard ourselves against virtually something that we can't escape from, the increasing heavy metal pollution all around us. Food, water, air, gadgets, furniture, paints, everything. So with the increasing advances have come the increasing heavier price of environmental pollution impacting on all life forms, including ourselves. So they're saying, and I see truth in this, we should all be aiming to look at our water supply. If we have to put on a filter on the mains, that is going to be important. Because our water supply, which used to be so good in the old time days, as the water had to filter through the heavy coral and became quite pure, now they're finding certain chemicals seeping through that coral barrier and getting into our water. So the water, the food, everything. So we have now to eat those things that we can eat organically, and those foods that help the liver, the sulfur-containing cruciferous veg, onions, and garlic, and then those molecules that we can supplement with to help liver and kidney to clear our bodies of these heavy metals: NAC, milk thistle, chlorella, spirulina, modified citrus pectin, the cruciferous vegetables, blueberries, and the other berries as well, and their extracts. And be on guard and be on watch. We can't escape. The pollution is all around us, but we can do our best now to help our livers and kidneys to help clear the burden of heavy metal toxicity. Okay, I have 10 more minutes, so I'm closing early, but I'm going to open up now for any comments or questions before we take a break, before the next session. You see the challenge we have, you see the information given, and we have to be vigilant about these things. We see the increasing cancer burdens and so on. Sometimes we wonder why we now understanding more about this pollution. Yes, Brother Crony.
Yeah, hi, good evening. I have a question, but not so much on heavy metals, but more so on, I guess, what you would call natural toxins. I've heard that some foods, for example, English potatoes, contain something called glycoalkaloids, which can cause some people to become fairly sick. I just want you to address that briefly. And also, some people use bitter apricot seeds as an anti-cancer supplement. I've heard that they contain possibly small amounts of cyanide. Is that true? If it is, in your opinion, is it a case then that you would think that the benefits might outweigh the risks? Thanks.
Okay, the first one about English potatoes, what we call Irish potatoes or English potatoes. Yes, the evidence is clear. If you see an English potato looking greenish or darkish, do not use it. They should be ripe. Another thing, do not store them. Do not just leave them. Well, this might not concern most of us, but in big countries, the countries that produce English potatoes, and people have an excess, and they may put them in a basement and try to keep them for a while. Disaster has resulted. Gases have been given off that has caused death, that have caused death. So English potatoes, you watch the skin, any discoloration, even if it is green, which means it is not fully ripe, you can get problems. People get vertigo, they can get toxicity, yes, because of that particular molecule. So that's a good point raised there, but according, I don't know if everybody heard your question. English potatoes can carry a natural toxin. So it's best to avoid any discoloration, green or dark, to make sure the skin is their natural color. And you don't store them for any long time and let them get old, because you can get problems therefrom. The other one about apricot seeds containing cyanogen, that is known. A lot of hard seeds from fruits contain cyanogen compounds, which in small amounts the liver takes care of. People take apricot seeds in their attempt to fight cancer, and then they have to be very careful and be supervised, because of course, you know, if you're dealing with cancer and all conventional methods and hope is gone, people will try anything. But trying the apricot seed cyanide, sometimes called B17, is not a thing to undertake without careful understanding and supervision, even if other things have failed, because problems can occur with the normal cells being affected by the cyanide compound in apricot seeds. So thank you, Brother Crony. I hope that addressed your question. Any other questions or points?
Doc,
Yes, sir.
in relation to the apricot seeds, if you take two, beginning, the middle, and the end, how would that sound?
Well, you see, it depends on what you're trying to do. I've seen testimonies of people with very serious cancers reporting good results. I've also seen testimonies, well, not seen testimonies, read reports of people who were attempting to use it, run into serious trouble and couldn't live to tell the tale. So obviously it is something that has to be carefully tailored to the individual, preferably under supervision, because if you take 2-3 times a week, it may not make any impact on the cancer that you're trying to deal with. And on 3ABN some years ago, they had a chat with pancreatic cancer and all was over, nothing else could be done. And he tried the apricot seeds and gave a good report. But these things, of course, vary from individual to individual in their effects. And anybody wanting to try that, if other modalities have failed in a situation that looks dire, should still be under careful supervision and monitoring, looking at dosage and monitoring effects and so on. It shouldn't be done willy-nilly without supervision because of the potential risk versus benefit ratio. Okay, well, thank you. And I suppose our sound leaders can sing a song as we get ready for the next session.
A question, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
I saw this video where this guy was drinking only coconut water. Can we replace coconut water with water? Or we have to take in both?
Yes, the thing about coconut trees and the coconut root is that it has a very powerful filtration mechanism in the root, so that the coconut water is, to all intents and purposes, virtually absolutely pure, even though the coconut roots may be in contaminated soil. So yes, coconut water is a good replacement for pipe water if we want to be even more pure in our water intake, yes. Because people are concerned about water in plastic bottles, they're saying that water in plastic bottles, when they make these bottles, plastic bottles of waters in the countries that make them, they're knocking about the place for a while, and they say that certain chemicals from the plastic called xenobiotics can leak into the water and cause trouble. There you have it again. So coconut water, yes, that is a very good consideration as a water replacement, certainly for us here in the tropics, where we have the coconuts. Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, would the potassium and the coconut water affect some people with different
Potassium, thank you, Sister Flo. Potassium is only a problem with for people with kidney failure. If your kidneys are healthy, you need 4 to 5 grams of potassium a day. So bananas, coconuts, fruits, and vegetables. And that keeps your cells strong, a good potassium supply, because a lot of people are relatively lacking in potassium, eat too much salt and too little potassium. However, if you have kidney failure now, where the problem is with the kidneys not being able to excrete the excess potassium and keep a proper balance, the potassium level in the blood should be between 3.5 and 5 millimoles per liter. If it goes too high or too low, it's going to interfere with electrical conduction across nerve and muscle and heart muscle and lead to disaster. The kidneys excrete excess. So we need a good intake, and most of the potassium is pumped into the cells. So potassium is king inside the cells, very important inside the cells, whereas sodium is king outside of the cells in what we call the extracellular fluid. When you use too much salt and too little potassium, the cells are not as vibrant, and it is shown that getting more potassium in helps to prevent high blood pressure and stroke. And but if a person has a kidney problem, kidney disease, and the kidneys are not doing their excretory job carefully, then the potassium levels can rise. So in kidney failure, the doctor or the nephrologist usually advises the patient with kidney disease to lessen the potassium intake. That is when the kidney failure is becoming quite advanced. But once your kidneys are healthy, potassium is no problem, and we need a good 4 to 5 grams a day. So thanks for raising that, Sister Flo. All right, well, thank you. We'll hand over now to the, well, it's almost 4:30, but I suppose a sound can be